and injuries to his arm and his hands. Victor, Bianna.
Veronica Miracle and Evan Perez, thank you very much. The chief of San Francisco Police made a plea for all people, no matter their politics, to fight back and debunk conspiracy theories. He says that no one deserves to be victimized for just doing their job.
What does it take? Does it take somebody being murdered? Does it take, what does it take for us to finally stand up and say, this is enough, it needs to stop?
Let's turn now to Democratic Congressman Khanna, whose district is in the San Francisco area. He's also the deputy whip of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Congressman, welcome back. I'll ask about Capitol Police later, but do you know if local authorities, or do you believe that they should take a different posture around the Pelosi's home when the speaker is not there, considering what happened on Friday?
Well, first, Victor, I'm just sickened and disgusted by what happened. I've been in the Pelosi's homes many times. They have opened it up to their community so often. It's just heartbreaking that they're going through this. And yes, I assumed that there was 24/7 security around the Speaker of the House's residence. That should be the default going forward. And I'm frankly surprised there wasn't that security.
So beyond the speaker, beyond House and Senate leadership, we know that Capitol Police resources are strained right now and have really been for some time. But for those members who are not in leadership, for their families that are facing threats, we heard from Congressman Kinzinger, who's on the January 6th committee, that his family was threatened. He went to Capitol Police. Essentially, they told him to get in line if he wanted protection for his family. What should be approached to members beyond leadership back in district for security for those families?
Well, first of all, there needs to be an assessment of security for all members and their families, and the Capitol Police needs to continue to do that. But second, and beyond that, for specific members or family members who have specific threats, they need to have protection. And just like I am for funding police around this country, I think we should be funding the Capitol Police. That is necessary to safeguard our democracy. No one should fear running for political office or serving because they're going to have a violent risk to themselves or their families.
I want you to listen to the chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee. This is Senator Rick Scott. He was on State of the Union yesterday with Dana Bash, and Dana played a segment of a soundbite from President Biden in which he called people to condemn the conspiracy theories about a stolen election. And she then asked the senator what he thought about that, if he agreed. Here's what he said.
We can have a heated conversation about the issues, but this violence has got to stop. This is horrible, and my heart goes out to Paul Pelosi, and I hope he has a full recovery.
Is it important for people from the top of your party, the former president on down, to tone down the rhetoric about the conspiracies that might instigate somebody who is unhinged, like the man who went into the Pelosi home?
Dan, I think what's important is everybody do everything we can to make these elections fair.
Didn't answer the question there. What do you think about what you heard from the senator?
It's sad that he dodged such a simple question. I mean, the reality is this was an individual who was radicalized. He was radicalized to commit an act of political violence. And we have to ask, why was he radicalized? Why are we in American democracy feeding these outlandish conspiracy theories? Why are they festering on social media? And we all need to take accountability. The social media companies, the role of some of the media, and certainly elected officials and people in the Republican Party who have been fueling some of these conspiracies. That doesn't seem like that high a bar, and I hope that an incident like that would trigger that kind of reflection.
Well, let's talk about one of those social media companies. Over the weekend, in response to something that Secretary Hillary Clinton tweeted, Elon Musk tweeted a link to some baseless report about, and here it is, about a relationship potentially or something about Paul Pelosi. He later deleted it, but what does this episode tell us about how he likely intends to manage this platform? What do you take away from this episode?
Well, I hope what Elon Musk will do is create an independent governance structure for Twitter. I agree that we need to remove the many bots on Twitter. That actually is a problem in the conversation. But beyond that, just like CNN doesn't have corporate owners making decisions of who can come on your news program, and just like the Washington Post isn't run by Jeff Bezos, we need to make sure that Twitter isn't run by the corporate owner but has independent governance boards and principles.
Congressman Khanna, thank you. Our authorities in South Korea say there were no guidelines for dealing with crowd surge at Saturday.